Welcome back, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and a man whose children are feeling a little bit better today, Mr. Andy Molitor. But anybody's feeling better than the city of Philadelphia. Kudos to anybody that had the forethought to parlay the Washington Wizards, the Houston Astros, and the Toronto Maple Leafs for maximum Philadelphia pain. You cash that plus 750 parlay. Kudos to you.
I don't believe in mushes or jinxes or, oh no, the public's all over this, or public dogs have fleas, or oh, reverse line moving, all that horseshit, voodoo, bullshit, garbage. But I almost did bet the Astros yesterday when I saw Jim Cramer like wearing Phillies gear, like the Mad Money guy, because he
All he
is
does is lose.
actually he is actually like a jinx. Like I do believe, and to be fair, I think he's just bad at the market, but I'm not sure how he got a show. Um, but regardless, he's entertaining, and yeah, I almost did bet. I almost did bet the Astros. Didn't end up doing that. Just managed to stick to football, and me and Pete got after it in Brazilian soccer. That was a kind of an afterthought after Champions. It was like Champions League's in the afternoon, and you
Can
didn't
scratch
get
that itch.
enough. You didn't get enough. I'm like, oh, I need a little more, and so you just pull up Flash Score and you hit the live tab because that's
It's the
basically the
best.
live tab is like, hey, do you want to bet something? Well, here's what's on right now. Like if you want to live bet this shit, so I would, yeah. One of we have a soccer channel in the Deep Dive DGens, and somebody tagged me. He said, "Hey Andy, you can put some picks in here if you're betting soccer." I'm like, "Buddy, I'm not good. Like you don't want my picks. I got lucky and had a nice run of live bets where they're all overs. They're all live overs. Just trying to scratch the itch of seeing the big chance, big chance, big chance, big chance. Oh shit! Some team I've never heard of just scored and we won. That's basically my betting strategy. But we'll actually do some bets that we did place, have placed, will place, are excited about today in college football. No, we won't. That's not
Yeah.
something. We'll do that tomorrow. I don't know why I said college. I tried to say college basketball. It didn't happen. NBA, PGA, tennis, football, and whatever else we can find.
So you said the wrong thing trying to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm
That's a
really
twofer.
I'm
You're sharp today, buddy.
flummoxed.
Let's go.
I'm really flummoxed. But yeah, let's start in the association. It's another beautiful night in the basketball. And I keep talking to Drew on the back end about this too, about how weird the season has started. And I don't know, and you mentioned it too. It's been hey, this is the first normal season in a couple years. We're not so so far removed from bubble ball, which that does seem a
Yes.
long time ago. If the Lakers were the best team in the league, the bubble does seem like maybe a long, long time ago. Right now, the best team in the league, and it's not close. And I don't think this is any sort of a, you know, what's the word, fluke. There's nothing wrong with this being the best team in the
I feel
league
like
in
you're
the
setting me
world.
up for something.
No, the Milwaukee Bucks are a goddamn truck. And yeah, they played a shitty team, but they covered a big number last night, and they're just, man, I think they're even like 6-1 against the spread. Even the market isn't high enough on them in the against the spread right now. So the Bucks, I'm changing it. The Bucks are my new pick to click. Who did I had the Sixers beating the Nuggets. Yeah, maybe in the play-in tournaments. They can't play each other in the play-in tournament,
It's
but
true.
so what? I don't know. Give me something to bet on tonight.
Hey, the Bucks are good. I mean, it's been the central division in the NBA. Milwaukee and Cleveland combined 13-1. They've been really impressive. The Phoenix Suns chugging along, but yeah, still some weird stuff here. You look in the Western Conference standings. If the playoffs were tomorrow, your 5 seed, the San Antonio Spurs. But again, I think it's just kind of we're having like a delayed preseason thing. I know this is a normal season, but we did start a little earlier than people are used to. But just 2 games tonight, and unlike always, Andy, I didn't actually bet both of them. I was a little surprised. Usually, when there is 2 games, there's something I like about both of them. But Nuggets Thunder came right out on my numbers. 229 is the total. 6.5 is the spread. I had the Nuggets 7. I had the total right at 228. So pretty much right on the numbers. But this Magic Warriors total, one of the best bets that you could pretty much make this season. I'm going to continue to make until the market adjusts for this. The Warriors overs have been incredible. Just about every one of their games has gone over 230 points. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that The Warriors are restricting the minutes of their starters. Basically, the first five is only playing about 30 minutes or so per game. Again, just trying to slow everybody into the season, make sure that they're in good shape and they're not pushing anybody too hard. And they have a great bench. I mean, there's finally some depth on this Warriors team. You got Moody, Kuminga, some of those younger guys. Jordan Poole comes off the bench. And I think what the market looks at is, well, the starters aren't playing so much. Let's ratchet down the offensive efficiency and things like that. But I don't think they're making the proper adjustment on the other end. The pace is up for them. The defensive rating is down with some of these players on the floor, and their totals have been wild. Enter the Orlando Magic, a young team that is happy to run, should be able to put up plenty of points themselves for the first three quarters. They're not a four-quarter team, which is tough because you do have to play all 48 minutes of a basketball game. So as much as I'd like to maybe trust the Magic to get the team total over, something like that, I kind of started with that angle. I have this at 231. 226 looks great. I'll play over 226, 227. If you listen to this late enough and it gets to 228, take that. If it's pretty much sat at 226 all morning. If it does, I'll probably go on and maybe take some alt totals later. Those tend to open up a little bit later in the day. But for now, let's get the over 226. Magic and Warriors. I think we see at least 230 points tonight in one of our only two TNT games. Or maybe it isn't TNT. I always forget this early in the season. Maybe they're afraid to go against the ball.
No TNT
Cowards.
game tonight is what I say. And nobody helped me with that information. That was straight from the noggin because I follow the NBA.
Mr. Molitor's noggin.
Dan chimed in there. So, yeah, and the Italy to lift the trophy system was great. And if you think I won't be betting every World Cup match, you are dead wrong, sir. I love betting. I love betting. Not only do I love betting soccer, I love betting soccer at weird times, like K League or whatever in Korea at like 4 a.m. if you get up too early. Australian overnight shit, like the J League, Japan. I mean, all that stuff's great. But now we get Qatar in the middle of the goddamn who knows when time these matches are. I will be betting them, and I do know what time this match is. Down in Mayakoba, beautiful Playa del Carmen. Kids,
sounds like a cute girl.
Kids, pick up your golf clubs. Learn how to golf. You go to Hawaii in January. You go to Mexico a few times, Bermuda, Puerto Rico, Sea Island, Pebble Beach, San Diego. It's so nice to be a PGA Tour pro because you get to go to all the cool places. And right now, yeah, they are down in Mexico. I have some outrights here that haven't started yet. I mean, if you just want to hear about them. I think I bet some Tom Hoagie. I have to go back and look. You can see it. I
love a Hoagie.
I know I put these in the BetSperts Golf Discord as well. But on Tuesdays, the reason I'm not here is because I'm talking with Noonan about who I'm betting for golf. That's on the YouTube. You can check that later on if you ever want to check out what we're thinking for golf that week. Real close last week, but Finau, Hoagie, Harmon, Montgomery, Buckley, and Adam Long. I think 5 of those guys haven't even started yet, and the aforementioned Tom Hoagie is in a full tournament matchup for me here. I laid the 1.5 strokes over Mav McNeely. Before I ran my numbers, before I looked at prices, I honestly thought Mav McNeely was a guy I was thinking about targeting here. He's a decent West Coast golfer, I guess, and I've backed him, but his price was ridiculously high. And I think, or low, I guess would be the word for it. I thought he was going to have much longer odds. I guess he's kind of trading on some short-term form. He played well at the CJ, well at the Zozo, finished okay at the Shriners, but where he's supposed to be good out the Fortinet, he didn't make the cut. He's had kind of an up and down year. There's a few top 10 finishes mixed in, but Tom Hoagie's a goddamn winner. Like this guy he won on tour. I thought he was going to win up at the 3M. He played really well at the Shriners. He has just as good a form, and I have him as a much better course fit. Just the ball striking numbers right now. I went last 24, last 50. I did a couple different time weighted, look splits at the just ball striking, and Tom Hoagie is a much better ball striker. He's much better on approach than McNeely. Finding the greens, and the greens aren't going to be super hard to find if you're accurate off the tee here, but that's another spot where he's been better. He's more accurate off the tee. He's finding more fairways, good drives gained, which is just a measure of when you hit your drive, it doesn't matter where you go. Did you end up with a green in regulation off that ball? So, I mean, he's, I think, first in the field on some of these short iron metrics I looked at. he's been great. So Tom Hoagie is someone like I said, not only do I love him to win, I laid a stroke and a half over Mav McNeely here. I think it's just going to be a stark difference in how the irons play down here at Mayakoba. I'm not sure how much I'll have for daily matchups. I'm just a busy week for me. Obviously, if you follow me on Twitter, selling some appliances and playing Legos with sick kids. It's been a long week for Andy. I've got a date with
Going
the
through old
wife.
clothing.
I like to take the wife on a date on Thursdays, and by date I mean we go to a bar and watch the first half of Thursday Night Football. So that will be my plans for the evening. And then, yeah, looking at that, Brian from work. It's like Hulk on, or excuse me, Thor on Ragnarok. Hey, I know this guy from work, but Brian is from the Fantasy Life app. Says Hurts passing props under. I wonder if it's a case too where not only everything he's saying in the chat, but Hurts even play the fourth quarter. It's hard to hit your passing prop when your team just kicks the shit out of the other team, which might be the case tonight. But we'll head back to the Lone Star State. How are things going down there? What's the scuttlebutt in Midland?
It's been kind of a rough week, Andy. A goofy tournament. Midland stuff's gone okay. The WTA finals, I might just be done betting that. I can't seem to make heads or tails of what's going on there yet. Jabor Pagula seemed like an absolute lock for a long first set, 6-1, over pretty quickly. So it's tough. There's some goofy results down there, but Midland's been okay, and we're going to go back here. I finally got a price I like on over 2.5 sets for one of these matches, and starting to play around with these exact score props. I definitely think there's some value in here, especially in matches where I like it to go over 2.5 sets. It maybe didn't get the number I wanted there. But we'll start with Mandlik Osorio. Should be a very competitive match. Osorio, somebody we bet on quite a bit. Mandlik is a younger player that's really had a nice kind of end to the season. Curious to see how she wraps up the year and maybe tries to carry it in. But this just looks like it's going to be an absolute battle. Thought about taking the total games over, but they generally play pretty quick sets. So instead of taking the over here, which I believe is 21 and a half at this point, give me the over 2.5 sets, plus 160 available, a couple spots. Really love that number again. Have that closer to plus 140 myself. Anytime there's competitive match like this, you tend to see, again, a lot of back and forth. So give me the over 2.5 sets. And then the next two matches here, Andy, kind of like the over 2.5 sets look, but really I'm starting to pick apart these exact score lines, trying to figure out kind of where there's value here, try to see if I can find a better way to take advantage of some of these matches going longer. Because again, the books have gotten a little sharper on the 2.5 for the most case. We'll start here. Allison Kruger plays against Peyton Stearns. Again, should be a really tough match here. Like Kruger to win overall, but pretty close to what the market line is. It's a pick 'em, minus 10, minus 15, depending on where you look and how much juice they want to hang on smaller tennis. Pretty close to where I have it. Kruger maybe should be minus 120, but generally plays well the longer matches go. When I started putting together some of that stuff, I came with a number closer to plus 300. So plus 400 or better looks great there. And Anna-Lena Friedsam, one of the three named players. I don't know why I like that so much, but Alf goes up against Sasha Vickery here. Again, both women should be a pretty competitive match. I like Friedsam to win. She's generally more consistent. She's right around minus 120 again. I came out closer to minus 130, so maybe just a little bit of value on Alf, but 2 sets to 1. Again, same thing. Came up with closer to plus 280 on this one, and I'm seeing plus 400. So going to kind of keep tweaking these things a little bit. These are just half stakes for me on some of these bigger ones as I start to figure it out. But over 2.5 sets plus 160, like that quite a bit. That'll be a full bet for me. And then Kruger and Friedsam, 2 sets to 1 plus 400. And yes, Fran Millionaire on freaking Lee. Way to go with that third set comeback. You're never down when it comes to tennis. I think she was down 5-1 or 5-2 something, Andy, and we got all the way back for the win.
You're never fully dressed without a smile. That's from the movie Annie.
Is it?
Yeah. It's one of the worst songs in the movie. Not very memorable, but I don't know why that popped in my head. I'm having a weird morning. I took some of kids' cough medicine, and honestly, I'm kind of just
You're supposed
floating.
to say that.
I'm kidding. I did take a Zicam. Like, you should have some zinc in your system. If people in your house are getting sick, it's going to help keep you
zinc and vitamin D.
So yeah, we took an emergency. We took a Zicam, and we've had a coffee. That's it today. I'm going to have to get a sandwich for lunch to kind of settle this. The
Maybe a hoagie to go with your
Eagles.
Tom hoagie.
Oh God, that's a fucking excellent idea. The Eagles of Philadelphia, your Philadelphia Eagles, Noops, head to the connection here. Texas is where tennis is. Philly is where you are, and Minnesota is where the money's gonna be pouring into this first half because I have bet, like everybody else, the most obvious bet. Sometimes the most obvious bet on the board is maybe just the easiest. It's kind of like what I said with the 49ers the other week. Like maybe not a ton of analytics to back this up, but it's like the Rams suck on offense. McVay sucks against Shanahan. This is a short number, and they just added Christian McCaffrey. Why am I not betting the house on the 49ers here? It was one of the easier bets I've made several weeks. And yes, as Brian pointed out in the chat too, Brandon Cooks, who is fighting with his team, will not play tonight. Not sure how much that matters, but it certainly doesn't hurt anybody looking to bet the Philadelphia Eagles here. This is the highest scoring first half team in the league by margin. The next highest scoring is Buffalo at 16.6 points, Seattle at 15.4, Kansas City at 15.1. Philadelphia is averaging 21 points per first half. So they are number one with a bullet. Houston, 28th at 8 points per first half. This team has regressed a little, and those 8 points may be a little misleading because they've actually played some kind of bad teams throughout the season. They're only one, they're 1-4-1 at this point, but I mean, they played the Broncos, the Bears, the Jaguars, the Raiders. Those weren't very good teams, and they're still only getting 8 points per first half. They only scored three. I'm not even sure if that was in the first half. Yes, they had 3 points in the first half last week. They had 10 the week before, but that one drive where they did score a touchdown, I think it was 4 or 5 out of their 9 third down conversions were on that one drive. Like it takes just such a colossal Herculean effort for this team to get this offense moving. And I'll be honest, Brandon Cooks will be out. This Philadelphia pass rush is legit. This defense is legit. I don't care if it's on the road. This is a nice spot. So I actually, some 7.5. I actually bet this at Bookmaker minus. I just put 7.5. That's the line right now. I bet -8, -106. Just sold out a half point here, but not a big bet, but a little money on the Eagles first half because I'm not betting anything till halftime and hoping that I can, get one of these first touchdown scores. And then the Eagles maybe score a couple more. It's like 22-0 because there was a penalty on one of the extra points. And then Sirianni opts to go for 2 on one of the touchdowns. So 22-0 is my first half prediction. And who will score those touchdowns though?
This was tough.
Is the man on the list? Is the man who scores the first touchdown on this list, or is it the man who scores the second touchdown? Is what we've been goddamn snake bit with. But I'm excited about this, and also I think it's fun that you made up a player today.
It would seem that I made up a player, and I'm actually excited. You guys are going to get to hear me live say his last name for the first time in my entire life. I didn't even try to say it before the show, but this was
Gainwell.
absolutely one of, if not the hardest games to handicap first touchdown score for me pretty much all season. And a lot is the dynamic you just talked about. The Houston Texans blow. They blow hard. They very rarely score, if they ever score. So you have that dynamic. You combine it with the Eagles being huge favorites, and you get stuff like Jalen Hurts plus 500, Miles Sanders plus 500, A.J. Brown plus 600, and like even Dameon Pierce is 9-1. And it's just a lot to unpack here. But as you start to look through it, we'll start with Dallas Goedert. He has the second most red zone targets of any Philadelphia Eagle, more than Devontae Smith. He's pretty close to A.J. Brown, despite last week's really big game for Brown. This was one of the numbers that didn't move. He's pretty much 11, 12-1 every week. The Eagles is big favorites. Yes, there should be a slight adjustment again for the fact that the Eagles are probably the only team in this game that can score a touchdown and are big favorites. So had this in single digits myself. There's some 10s out there. There's an 11. Grab the 11 if you can. 10 is just fine on Dallas Goedert. Teams generally, when they score on the Houston Texans, it is a running back, and you'll see that the next couple names here: Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. Those are the second and third string running backs for the Philadelphia Eagles. but it's not your normal setup in Philadelphia. Sanders does get the bulk of the work, but these guys, Gainwell and Scott, get a lot of work in the passing game, get about 7, 8 carries themselves per game, especially when they get down to the red zone. Sanders is the guy who kind of gets him down the field, and he has got a lot of touchdowns this year. He deserves to be the running back favorite for the Philadelphia Eagles, but the work continues to pick up for these two guys, and teams have literally just run over the Houston Texans. It's rushing touchdown after rushing touchdown after rushing touchdown. So 20-1 or better on both Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott looks good. Give me the Eagles defense. They turn the ball over just about as much as any team in the league. I can't remember if they're first or second or third, somewhere in that top three. I looked that up earlier. I can't seem to remember off the top of my head. I'm too worried about that last name at the end, but they turn the ball over a lot. This Houston team actually doesn't have a lot of giveaways, but the way this game goes, we've seen how funky some of these Thursday night games are. Just a really nice number for me in the Eagles defense, 20-1. Rex Burkhead, one of the Houston Texans running backs. Again, not a lot of teams have scored touchdowns against the Eagles this year. They're pretty good against wide receivers. They're pretty good against tight ends. But if you do score on the Eagles, again, it tends to be rushing touchdowns or even maybe the occasional receiving touchdown for a running back. Rex Burkhead, again, second running back here for the Houston Texans. Probably a good chance Dameon Pierce gets the bulk of the work tonight, but Burkhead continues to get carries inside the red zone, continues to be a target inside the red zone the few times the Houston Texans actually make it down there. Texans defense and special teams, 60-1, just kind of a number grab here. I don't think any defense or special team should ever be more than 50-1. 60-1 is just a huge number for a defense that, again, not fantastic, but has some chances here. The Eagles turn the ball over a little more than you think they do. Happy to take the defense. And yes, Andy, this, as far as I'm assured by the folks that run ESPN.com, is a real person. And I assume it's Dare Agunbowale.
Oh, that was really good. Yeah, I'm gonna give you like a little golf clap for that. That was pretty solid. That's just a really fat number.
150-1, anything 100-1 or better looks good. Again, he's the third string running back for the Texans, but continues to get more work over the last couple of weeks. I wonder if at this point, the Houston coaching staff is kind of looking at the writing on the wall and saying, there's no real need for us to run Rex Burkhead in the ground over and over again. Let's give a Gumbawale. That's fun to say it once I get that right. Some carries here again. It has been picked up his usage the last few weeks, and at 100-1 or better, he's going to be on the field. He's going to get the ball at some point in the red zone if the Houston Texans make it that far. Just a huge number. Have to play that. So some running backs, a lot more running backs. This is probably as many running backs as I've picked over the last couple of weeks in combination. Both defenses and the Eagles tight end. Mostly, honestly, because the Texans have 3 tight ends. They all stink, and they don't seem to get the ball anyway.
He's a fun DFS play too. Wisconsin running back. He's a Wisconsin running back. They've been good since forever. Remember Ron Dane, guys? Jesus. So Ogunbowale. I'm excited about playing that one. I'll try to find a triple digit number on him. And what's amazing is, you think about, because at first, I'm like, it's gonna be all like, just Eagles. Like, why would we play any Texans at all? But like I said, the Houston Texans are 1-4-1. That's 5-1. That's 7 games. They were the first touchdown scorer in 3 of those games. Like, I get it. It's still a
It
parity
happens.
league. Even when maybe the second best team and the worst team are playing, it's still a parity league, and things happen like this. To be fair, one of those first touchdown scores they had was a fourth quarter touchdown against the Jaguars, and that game absolutely sucked ass. But like I said, they've played some shittier teams. So I do think if the Texans want to score the first touchdown, it's going to be on the very first drive because they get the ball and they have a perfect scripted drive that has 3 or 4 things go absolutely right, or some sort of turnover that gives them a plus position. So I'm uh I'm I'm not hopeful, but it would be awesome if, you know, I would be not feeling so bad about my first half bet if Ogunbowale ended up rumbling in for the first touchdown at a big price. So let's go, let's go Eagles, let's go Texans, let's have some fun tonight. Let's go Phillies. Let's put a little
Come
pressure.
on.
Let's put a little pressure on them. Put a little pressure on those Astros heading back to Houston. It's been a
We
fun
definitely don't want to
series.
be down 2-3. That's for sure.
I wish, that
I
is a
checked with the
word.
players. They all said it.
I wish both teams would try one of these games. These last 2 games have been very one-sided, so maybe both teams will try tonight. That'll be fun. I'll be watching football, And hopefully you guys have fun with whatever you're watching, whatever you're betting. Give us a thumbs up on the way out. Thanks to Noops. Go Flyers. Go Philly. Go you. See you tomorrow.